From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoon LALATE with incredible great news about your financial markets, stocks, bonds, crypto, and your four stimulus check update of 2022 from May 15th, 2022. In today's recording, we go over the breaking news as Congress is trying to get the Build Back Better Act done before the midterm elections. What does this mean for you? Big money, but that's on top of the four stimulus checks that have landed in every U.S. state. And in this recording, we'll go over those incredible checks and how you get them. Yes, a four stimulus check has landed in every U.S. state, and they're massive. They were done by executive action by Joe Biden, most of them, and I'm going to go over them. Check A, B, and C. How do you get them? Step 1, become a member. Step 2, get that newsletter. And step 3, pounce as a Purple Hawk. Those four stimulus checks in every U.S. state, I'll have the latest details on that front across the board. But guess what happens this week? Jay Powell is back to talk. Is he in a sitcom again? Yeah, he is. He has some more humor to deliver to you, like he's getting inflation down to 2% later this year. Hilarious. Not happening. We're going to go over what's going on this coming week with Jay speaking, Boulard speaking, oh, my favorite. And Fed governors appearing more often than Real Housewives in appearances all this week. All the latest details on why that impacts your wallet, your money, and your economic future. We'll be looking at what happened with those FANG stocks and whether we're at the bottom or whether there's more to FANG off of the bottom. Then we'll be looking at what's going on with the student loan debt forgiveness, the SS300, your benefits if you're on SSI and SSDI, the big checks, the big money, the big details, and a big day with a lot of money at issue, and why viewers like Nisi have done so well getting checks over and over and over. She got $8,000 no less than 4 more times this year on top of the $23,000 she got before. And why are viewers doing so well on a regular basis by listening and writing down the notes? All the details in today's recording. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Welcome. And we're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to have a lot of money over this broadcast. It's a 1-hour show, stay to the very end, because the big money from Santa Monica, California on Afternoons LALATE starts right now. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And boy, what a day it is. It's an exciting day with so much money across the board, and I'm excited you're here. A four stimulus check has landed in every U.S. state, and in this recording, we're going to go over that check and all the big money available for you. It's coming up late in this recording. Stay to the very end. But first, become a member, because you do not want to miss that incredible newsletter, the only one of its kind, from the only financial news channel of its kind in the nation. That newsletter comes out Monday through Friday and has the four stimulus check in every U.S. state in there. And there's not just one, there's 3. And there could be more across the board. We'll have the latest updates on those checks later in this recording. We'll start with the other checks, the Build Back Better Act, the SS300, the student loan debt forgiveness, the 6th stimulus, and the interest rate and what Jay Powell's doing with inflation. The latest details across the board as a big day starts, a big week starts, and we're far from over in a tense time of inflation, recession, stagflation, and other economic uncertainties. But I'm going to make it simple for you, starting right now. How are you? Thank you for joining me on a beautiful day. It's gorgeous weather here in Los Angeles, and I hope your weather is good, and I hope you've been doing wonderful as well. God bless all of you. As we start today's Afternoons LA, the incredible news is that the four stimulus check has landed in every U.S. state. Check A, B, and C. I'm going to go over that check how to get for you later in this recording. Thank goodness it has, because this economy is going down the drain. It's actually getting worse by the hour. And the latest details signals what's going to happen this coming week. And already some of the analysts speaking about what projections they're giving are getting it wrong. Oh boy, here we go. For example, when we talk about those FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Google, the analysts are already saying we may already be at the bottom. Untrue, I say. Why? Because the tech bleeding, as many have called it, is far from over, because we're going into a recession. A recession involves when the GDP, the gross national product of the economy, shrinks and then goes negative. It refers to businesses. It refers to employment. It refers to hiring. And what you think is bad right now is just the start of it. In fact, some of the analysts now referring to as maybe a bear market. No, it is a bear market, and it's actually going to get a lot worse. This week, we'll see retail sales numbers, earnings numbers coming in from Walmart, Home Depot, and Target. And I'm going to look at certainly the Walmart numbers. Why? Because Amazon reported 2 weeks ago, and it was bad. Remember that was the week before Jay Powell announced the FOMC interest rate spike of a half basis point at that May FOMC meeting. The week before that was the Amazon number. Horrible. Projections out to third quarter this year. Horrible. That was the same day as Facebook. Remember how bad that was? It was awful. And their projections was the lockdown in China is causing supply chain disruption, not just now in first quarter, like Under Armour suffering, the sports retailing company, but also third quarter later this year. Why is it so important for your money? Because the way they do stimulus is that when the economy is not doing well, they want to get it to you. And why am I leaning with Walmart? Obviously. Why? Because when we talked about the first stimulus package in spring of 2020, when COVID just started, corporate earnings from Walmart were through the roof. Why? Because you got the check, the first check, and as Walmart said, most people initially didn't think COVID was going to be a big issue. Well, Walmart didn't say that exactly. Most people inherently didn't think COVID was going to be a big issue. So they went to Walmart, and what did Walmart report as the major purchase after the first stimulus check? A TV set, yes. So when they got to the second stimulus check, millions of Americans understood COVID was very serious. Don't just spend the money on a TV or, a down payment on a beautiful new car. Spend it on something sensible. Now, what happened is Amazon's reported earnings 2 weeks ago, horrible. And I'm going to see what's happening with Walmart. Remember, there's no stimulus check since the third, with the exception of these fourths, which have just landed since the quarter ended. So these four stimulus checks just started in the last week of March. You're not going to see any impact on them on the retail sales because this is first quarter sales. Yeah, we'd have to watch to the next quarter. So we're going to see Walmart, Home Depot, and Target report earnings after the markets close this week. And again, this is first quarter, the first months of the year's their earnings, along with Target. Jay Powell will speak on Tuesday at a Wall Street Journal conference. It will be the prelude to the new sitcom he's starring in, because he's going to be telling a lot of jokes. Jokes that Jay Powell will be telling on Tuesday, that he's getting inflation down to 2% later this year. That is hysterical, Jay. Where do you come up with this funny stuff? That he thinks that he has a box of tools that can solve the inflationary pressures caused by, exacerbated by supply chain disruption. That he has a tool to fix Putin's supply chain disruption. Hysterical. That he has a tool to fix the supply chain disruption caused by China. Just really funny. Where do you get these? Do you have a joke writer for this stuff, Jay Powell? That he has a supply chain disruption tool to fix coming out of COVID in the United States. And then he's getting inflation down this quarter. He hasn't yet. Has he watched his own reruns? Yeah, he hasn't watched his own reruns. Not doing good in syndication. So the situation is that Jay Powell will be speaking on Tuesday. And guess what Jay Powell's doing? He's doing this talk the talk because the walk doesn't work. And it's starting to become a little bit sort of like the mother-in-law that's invited for Thanksgiving. You're like, who invited her? Yeah, and she comments she didn't make the turkey dark enough. The dressing is not spicy enough. Can you stop commenting? Why don't you just make it yourself? What's going on with Jay Powell? He's going to be talking Tuesday, and I think that Wall Street is getting a little sick of him. I really do, because I don't think this talk is working anymore, and I think it's starting to look a little bit ridiculous, very basically. Now, here come the analysts. Because these analysts are very important for your stimulus. Because guess what? Are they going to say that the economy is going to be getting worse? No. Why do analysts sometimes tell you things are really good? Because they want to make money. Analysts sometimes want to make money. I'm not going to say it's these analysts, but some analysts want to make money, and they want to make money with you buying stuff from them. And they want you to buy their investments or buy stocks and bonds with them. And they're not going to tell you not to buy it. Let's make this very obvious. If you were talking to a stockbroker today, what would they normally say? Don't buy, we're going lower. Well, if someone really wants you to buy something, they say, buy it because we're already at the bottom. And then you buy it and you're like, that wasn't the bottom? That's the bottom. Yeah, here we go. So I'm not saying it's these analysts, but here are the comments that I do not agree with. One analyst says today that look at the FANG stocks going from 14% of market cap down to 9%. I think a lot of the tech bleeding is done. And that comment was by one analyst, Jim Paulson, chief investment strategist at Luthor Group. Jim, I don't agree with you. I think it's hideously wrong. I think that the bleeding in the Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, the FANG stocks, has just started. I don't think it's far from over, and I don't think it's done. Absolutely not. I think it's going to be very bad, and I think they're going to be dramatically down for the year. Earnings reports coming in on Monday are Warby Parker, Ryanair, and Weber. We have Fed President John Williams speaking at 8 a.m. on Monday. And look what's happening. You know what? I'm going to skip the corporate earnings reports. Let's look at what the repertoire is this week. Real Housewives making appearances? No. Fed governors making appearances. Here we go. Fed governor of New York Monday. Then Tuesday, my favorite, Boulard from St. Louis. Yeah, is he really from Boulard? Can we just put him from like Kansas City maybe? Gonna get the hate mail. I'm gonna get the hate mail. You know, it's just he just says ridiculous stuff. Can we put him with Kansas City and just not associate him with St. Louis? Then later that day, Philadelphia President Patrick Harver. I mean, look at this. And then Jay Powell is at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. I can just turn the page. I can just guess. There's going to be another Fed president. Yeah, there's Wednesday. We can have Harker talking on Thursday. And he's talking on Thursday. You buck them for Tuesday, then they talk on Wednesday, then they talk on Thursday. What are they going to say? We're going to do a half basis point, and we're not going to say how many times we're going to do it, and we're not going to do 3/4, and inflation is tracking too high, and price stability is very important. How do I know that's what they're going to say? Because that's what Jay Powell said on Friday. Jay Powell, going into the weekend, said that price stability is really important. Price stability is another way of saying curbing inflation, getting inflation under control, and he says he's going to do by raising interest rates. And what does Wall Street think? Wall Street now remembers that every time we've gone through this cycle before in history over the last 80 years with the Federal Reserve, they've done the same thing. They've raised those interest rates to battle price instability, which is a fancy way to say inflation. It hasn't worked. And each time they've sent the economies into recession. So the Federal Reserve is not going to get it right again, and it's heading you into recession. That is why when there are stimulus checks, and I don't mean $600. I don't mean $1,200. I don't mean $2,000. I mean $80,000 stimulus checks. $16,000 stimulus checks. When they're on the table, you need to grab them. You need to put them in your back pocket and save them. You need to not tell other people about them either. Well, tell them about the channel, but don't tell them about those checks. And, for every person that says, I haven't heard about this, good. I don't want you to hear about it because I want to get the money. I want my millions and millions of viewers, and thank you for all the brand new hundreds of new members every 24 hours. I want you to get the money. I want you to get the money first. You deserve it. You put the time in to learn about the checks. You put the time in to become a member. You put the time in to subscribe. You deserve these checks before anyone else, those lazy people that sit out there and say, when is $12,000 or $20,000 of MSCs landing in my wallet for doing absolutely nothing? I don't want that person to have the money before you. That person is a lazy person. I want you to have the money first because you put the effort in. You are the bread and butter of the Purple Power. Let's go over all the incredible details right now. What's important to understand is that the economic data at issue is really weak, and that signals the push to get Build Back Better Act done. That Build Back Better Act would give you additional checks. Additional checks on top of the checks I'm going to go over with you later in this recording. How much? A lot. 15 to 80,000? Yes. When would you get them? This month? No. Would you see a potential vote this month? I think you gotta. I think you got to get a vote out this month, or at least a solidification of the negotiations. Why? Because they got to get these checks out before the midterm elections. And out before the midterm elections means before you vote by mail, not before election night. That brings it actually 2 months earlier, not November, likely September. If it's by September, you got to get the checks out by August. If you get the checks out by August, you got to get the vote by July. The vote by July means you solidify the negotiations of the provisions now. Yes, this month. And that Build Back Better Act has a lot of checks in there. Let's go over all these incredible additional checks that are in Build Back Better Act, in addition to the checks that already are in your states. The incredible sums of money amount to $15,000 to $80,000 of checks across 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. And we're going to go over each of those incredible checks starting right now. What's important to understand is that these are massive payouts, and they are all in the Build Back Better Act. As we go into that first cluster of checks, what do we have in that first cluster? We have hazard pay, $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children, the CTC, 1 more year. Hazard pay is a lot of money. It's for my essential workers, about $1,500 a year. Then we have $12,500 for the purchase of a new car. Someone asked me on Mornings LA today, does electric car also include electric bicycle? No, it refers to car. They do have something for bicycles in there, though, as well. Then they have home repairs in that first cluster. Wonderful. As we go to that first add-on, $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Lynn Glenn loves this. This is absolutely huge. This is money that would be going to you for the purchase of your first home at $25,000. And I think this is very good in view of what's going on with the housing market. Housing market is down 4 consecutive months. Mortgage rates are out of control. So you need this money to afford that purchase of the first home. In that second cluster of checks, we have paid leave. A lot of money. This is if you work and you have to take off from work. That is $1,700 a week, up to 4 weeks a year on the high end. It's a lot of money. And for people who make a little bit less, it's still a lot of money. Second add-on of checks, $250 billion for free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. And then when we go to that third cluster of checks, lots of money for seniors, dental, vision, hearing, and more. For farmers checks, free internet for all checks. Great sums of money in these 3 clusters. And then, of course, that third add-on, MSCs. What's important to understand is that when we're looking at the Build Back Better Act, we are looking at something from Congress. Congress is one group of people who can give you stimulus. The other people are your states and also your president. And that is why there is a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state today. Before Build Back Better Act, that forced stimulus check was done by executive action. Those wonderful words you loved so much 2 years ago on this channel. The President of the United States has put the 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. And then those check A and B and C, he's done that as well. 3 checks, A, B, and C, as I name them on this channel, in every U.S. state. They're coming up later in this recording. So there you go. That is Build Back Better Act. What is in there? It also goes over the payouts, huge. And they, again, are additional sums of money on top of the 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Now, what about this stimulus? This stimulus versus SS300. I've gotten that great question. It's a really good question. I love great questions from viewers. They've been asking, what about this stimulus versus SS300? This stimulus has some provisions in there that cannot go by executive action, like the marriage penalty. It would be a changing of the law with a law. President can't do that by executive action. Has to have a recon. And what about the asset cap, the income cap? Same thing. Those are laws that have to be changed by laws. But swapping COLA for inflation is just a way that the Social Security Administration determines the payout of benefits. That does not need a law. All it needs is a phone call. Hashtag Joe Make the Call. If you're on social media, take this video right now and go on social media, tag the president, tag the Social Security Administration head, and say, hashtag Joe Make the Call. Joe Biden, in running for president and then his presidential platform, represented that he's going to swap COLA for inflation. He does this in a blink of an eye. I am not exaggerating. It is literally a blink of an eye, and he's done this before for other provisions. He did this in fall of last year when he picked up the phone and called Department of Agriculture, saying pay more money to people on Snap. They did. Everyone, 30 days, you got more money. He did this with Miguel Cardona, head of education, for raising the threshold to get more student loan debt forgiven. That's coming up later in this video. That's sound stimulus. When we talk about SS300, this is so simple. It's literally a phone call. Hi, it's your president. Hi, I need you to swap COLA for inflation and get those payouts starting 30 days from now. What would happen? It would be so wonderful. Inflation is currently tracking at about 8%. Familiar sentence for me to say. Yeah, I've only been saying that sentence now for, what, 6 months? Inflation's still tracking at 8%. So Joe made that swap from COLA to inflation. You lock in $200 more per month. And if inflation tracks at 4% later this year, you lock in another $100 more per month. That's SS300. That's a lot of money, folks. That's $300 more per month, and not just 1 month, not just 1 year, but a lifetime. $300 more per month over 12 months, that's $3,600. That's quick math on you. And why does Joe Biden need to make that swap? Inflation will come down, but it won't come down like what Jay Powell thinks. Jay Powell, his job is to raise interest rates to battle inflation. And he will get it down a little bit. I'm not going to say it ain't going to work at all, but he ain't going to get what he's looking to do. On Friday, Jay Powell spoke up a little bit about that. And what did he say? This is what Jay Powell said on Friday. Our goal, of course, is to get inflation back down to 2% without having the economy go into recession. Or put it this way, with the labor market remain fairly strong, that's what we're trying to achieve. The only thing we really cannot do is fail to restore price stability. Nothing in the economy works if the economy does not have price stability. Translation, he says he's trying to get inflation down to 2% later this year. That's a real funny joke, Jay. Yeah, where does he come up with this nonsense? It's not happening. No one believes it's happening. Really not believing it's happening. And if that's not happening, then I think my predictions are right. Last year, Jay Powell had it very wrong, and he just continually has it wrong. Last year, he said inflation was going to come in at about 2%, and it was going to be temporary. No, he said transitory. That fancy word. Fancy. Still wrong. What happened? I said it was going to be 8% in December of last year. Actually, last summer, I said it was going to be 8% in December of last year. I was right. And I said it was not going to be temporary. I said it was going to be prolonged for many months. I was right. What's happened since then? It stayed at 8%. It's actually gone a little bit higher than 8%, as I predicted as well. I said it'd go a little bit higher, come a little bit lower. It's going to be 7.9 to 8.1, and I said, especially in the month of April, it's going higher. Now, let me tell you what's going on right today. This is brand new breaking news. And then let me tell you what my guidance is on this. Inflation currently in the United States is being impacted by 3 events coming out of COVID. That's sort of the same situation. Number 2, Putin invading Ukraine. That's not really changing compared to the week before. And China on lockdown. China on lockdown because of subvariant of Omicron. That's changing. China's coming out of lockdown. So does that mean the end of inflation caused by China? No, it's going to reverse. Let me tell you why. China cannot get those products out of their factories because the factories are closed. China cannot ship the products because the shippers are staying home. They're on lockdown. When they come off a lockdown, that type of price inflation is going to go away. Thank goodness. Good. Inflation coming down. But guess what's also going to happen? They're going to start driving their cars. They've not been driving. They've been on lockdown. They've been literally locked in their homes. That's the zero COVID policy by the Chinese government, to stay in your homes. They're going to come out of their homes and start driving. And as one of the major consumers of gasoline internationally, there goes your price of Brent crude. Brent crude went to the weekend 111, and I'm predicting Brent crude will go to about 120. We ended on Friday with Brent crude up $3 already, 382 to 111. Dow 215 or up 1%. Nasdaq 319 up 319 or 3%. And the 10-year Treasury bond at 2924, down a little bit. Bit coming back 3% up to 29,000. Ethereum up 3% to 2,000. And Decentraland up 34% to $1. But I got to tell you, China's going to come off of that lockdown and get ready, because there's going to be that swapping of inflation. The price inflation going to come down, and then the energy inflation going to get worse. Now, Jay Powell is not taking into something else in consideration. And this one, I'm not going to predict about because I'm not a medical analyst. I never have. All I can tell you is the economic element of the situation. Dr. Fauci is now indicating there's a lot of major hotspots in the United States for the subvariant of Omicron. The subvariant of Omicron is hitting really bad in some parts of the United States. Full lockdown, no. A lockdown like 2020, no. Supply chain disruption, oh baby, yes, absolutely. When we talk about those 3 supply chain disruptions, the first one coming out of COVID, we could have that first supply chain disruption getting worse. If you see major hotspots of Omicron subvariant in the United States in different parts, expect problems again with shipping, problems with drivers, problems with transportation, with barges, with ports of call. There's already a new report out today. They're having problems with a number of airlines. They don't have enough pilots for planes. Big problem. And that is something that Jay Powell does not have ready in his toolbox. The PPI and the CPI number released this week, and the producer price index number and the CPI were not good. The producer price index number, which gauges how much manufacturers get for their products in their sale price, went up half basis point compared to the month of March. This is an April number. That means the goods went up. The prices went up. There goes more inflation. Then when you look at that CPI number, it rose as well. It stayed almost about the same. It was slightly about the same. That is how much consumers pay for their goods. And then last Thursday, remember Jay Powell says, I don't want to disrupt the employment market. Well, if you have a subvariant of Omicron spreading in the United States and you have more supply chain disruption for that because people are out sick, yeah, you've done this analysis before. Get ready. Unemployment claims. Unemployment claims last week surged up. Ooh, new unemployment claims went up? Yeah, how much? 203,000 was the number for the week ending May 7th. That was an increase of 1% for the period before. This ain't good. This ain't good. If you've been with this channel since day one, when I was recording in April and started covering the weekly jobless claims, it had shot up from 200,000 pre-pandemic to 1 million. And then post-pandemic, if there was such a thing, it's dropped down to about 180, 170, 160. The fact that we're back up to 200,000, I think that's very scary. No one else is scared by that number except me. I think that's a really bad number. I want to see what the continuing unemployment claims are this Thursday as well. What does this mean for you and your money? Well, hashtag Joe Make the Call. I mean, you should be on social media. You should be tagging and advocating. Hashtag Purple Power. Hashtag LALATE. Hashtag Joe Make the Call. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, veterans benefits, would you like $200 more per month right now? Joe Make the Call before inflation comes down. If inflation drops down to, let's say, 6% in 3 months from now, I'm not saying it's going to, but let's say it goes down to 6%, that ain't $200. That's why Joe needs to make that phone call right today. But the great news across the board is that you found me, I found you. We're one community, we're one family with hundreds of new members every day. And the great news is that together we are cleaning up. You are cashing out major forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. These aren't tiny mini checks. These aren't those silly $600 checks. No, these are checks like this and checks like this and checks like this. These are massive, enormous checks. And how do you get them? Step 1, subscribe. Go to the top of the channel and hit that subscribe button. Step 2, become a member. Because the membership newsletter, the only of its kind in the United States, that features where to get money, how to get the money, the links to go in to get the money, the instructions about how to get the money, is delivered to you when you're a member. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system. We're going to go over all these incredible checks, these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state after the commercial break. Then we'll be turning over that student loan debt forgiveness. Then we'll have a little bit more of a preview of what's happening this week as well. It's a big day, and it's a big, bold, beautiful weekend. But that big money could be even bolder across the board. Could be a check E and F coming up? Well, I'll have the latest details on that after the commercial break. It's a big day on afternoons, and I'll have a preview of tonight's Evenings LALATE in prime time. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Afternoons LALATE goes into second half with those big checks. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. See you back in 60 seconds.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now on a big, bold, beautiful afternoon's LA for May 15th, 2022. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend. The great news is that a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and I'm going to show you how to get this incredible check in this second half. Did you become a member during the commercial break? If you didn't, do it right now. Hundreds of new members every day, and I want you to be part of this incredible community because I want you to get these incredible checks. This is the only financial news channel in America with the #1 show in prime time that has a newsletter. And that newsletter features everything you need to know about this economy, but more importantly, shows you, guides you, sends you right in to get a forced stimulus check now in every U.S. state. Who else goes through that effort? It revolves hours of research daily on this channel, and it also involves a history of a channel that has gotten viewers upwards of $50 million in stimulus over the last year and a half. And with that, let's go into the big second half on a big day. How are you? A forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and the great news is that means a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state. Needless to say, I always get the pop quiz questions. Does that mean my state? Yeah, I just said every state. What about? What do you mean, what about? Is that a trick question? A fourth stimulus check is in every U.S. state. Now, the great news is that there's three checks that are forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state, at least. In many cases, a lot more of them. They are check A, they are check B, and they are check C. And check C is not just one check. Check C can be upwards of 8 checks at least. So let's make it very clear. Check A is in every U.S. state. Check B is in every U.S. state. Check C is in every U.S. state. And check C has about 7 checks in there. So let's go over all the incredible great news about this across the board. Step 1, subscribe. Go to the front of this channel and hit that subscribe button. Step 2, become a member. This membership newsletter is the only of a kind in the United States, personally developed by me, written by me nightly, and delivered by me to you nightly, taking hours and hours of research and combining and producing it to something so simple. All you have to do is open it up and go right in and do exactly what it says. Step 3, go to that little bell at the front of the channel and hit that bell so that all notifications are on. And then at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's West Coast Standard Time, Monday through Friday, you'll get the newsletter. The title will be a new YouTube post by LALATE, and the first line will say LALATE newsletter. There it is. You click it and you go right into the newsletter. And let's go over how to get check A, check B, and check C, which have already been gotten by thousands of viewers of this channel who have gotten fortunes of money in every U.S. state. Today's your opportunity to get your applications on file as well. Check A. I want you to get check A. And how do you do it? Very simple. First, what is it? It is a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. It is $6,500 to $12,000. My goodness, that is a lot of money. $6,500? That is astronomical. That is more than the first, second, and third stimulus checks combined. Yes, this is astronomical money. I don't play around on this channel. I get people big money. I don't get you hundreds of dollars. I get you tens of thousands of dollars. Next, the income qualification for this is going to be the same as for check A, B, C. It is single individual, 75,000 or less. Married couple, 150,000 or less. And yes, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, you can get as well. How do you get check A? Open the newsletter and you go into the newsletter. Go down to check A in the newsletter. Then it describes a little bit more about check A in the newsletter. Then it says click here to apply online for check A. You can do it on your phone. It's very simple. These websites are designed by the federal government for you to do stuff on your phone. They understand that people don't own computers. They're done also on your phone. You go in and apply. And there you go. You get that Check A application on file. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. It'll send you to the nationwide website. Then you choose your respective state. And then you choose the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check and you apply. So simple. I'll explain in the membership newsletter. Then let's go get some Check B. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Just stare at that number. Look at that number, 15,000 to 80,000. Yes, you're looking at something right. This ain't some measly MSC. This ain't some measly 3 months of $1,000 checks. This ain't some measly $600 check. That is $15,000 to $80,000. Viewers on the channel are tracking about 66 to 80,000. How long can you financially survive on $80,000? A year? 2 years? Half a year? I know, this is a lot of money. So this check B is astronomical. I don't play around here on this channel. I get big sums of money. We're not here for small, puny checks. How do you get this check? You go into that membership newsletter, go down to check B. Then you click the link. Check B has its own link, its own descriptions as well. Tells you what it's about. It's a homeowner's grant check. It's a different one. And it sends you into the nationwide website. You put your name and phone number in there, you apply, and you're done. Incredible. If you're a renter, get ready for Check C. Yes, Check C is for renters and homeowners. Check A and B is for homeowners. Check C is for renters and homeowners. How much is this? Now, Check C, which I refer to as check, I want to make very clear to you, there's actually a lot of Check C's. And that's why I want you to get as many as you can. They're averaging about $2,000 a month over 12 months for viewers of this channel, but they've been getting, the viewership of this channel have been getting Check C in every U.S. state since January of 2021. So people always ask, how much money are people getting for these checks? Well, in the case of Check C, it is actually the residue of third stimulus. And the third stimulus numbers, well, they're astronomical. They are astronomical. And I've been doing third stimulus since spring of last year. And look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. In fact, I did third stimulus in preview in 2020. We didn't even have members then. And look at these astronomical numbers. What is Check C for? Rent, utilities, all of your utilities. So let's say you have 5 utilities, you go for all of them. Mortgage assistance and more. And it's not from one place, it's from a lot of places. I want to stop on that graphic right there, Nisi. You see Nisi? Here is her combo number back in about November of last year. She's not a member. She's just someone who listens really well. And she listens really well, and she continues to push very well. I want to use Nisi as an example. Happy birthday, Nisi. It was her birthday, I think it was on Friday. I love Nisi as an example. Why? You know, I have the Johnny example where Johnny got a lot of calls in a short period of time. Remember the Johnny example? Johnny made 15 phone calls for Check C between Monday and Friday and got a 50% approval rating, which is generally what you're going to get. $80,000. Yeah, he got $80,000 because he made 15 phone calls because there's 15 places of Check C mentioned in the newsletter. When you go to Check C in the newsletter, it's not one Check C. It's going to be 15 places you can get Check C over and over again. It's going to have the city, the county, the state housing authority. Those 9 places plus the 7 nonprofits. Yeah, 15 places. You're going to make 15 phone calls. How many times a day do I see someone says, I made 1 phone call for Check C and I called it a day? Not listening to videos, not reading the newsletter. I say you got to make 15 phone calls. Why? It's not because I want you to be happy with one check. It's because I want you to be happy with 7 checks from Check C. There are the nonprofits, there are the government agencies, and they pay overlapping sums of money, and they also pay for other items. Johnny made 15 phone calls, and he got 8 items approved, 80,000. Nisi is a little bit different than Johnny. Johnny did a lot of work in a short period of time. Nisi got 32,000 at a time. What was the graphic? 32,000? I think it's 32,000 by November of last year. And then she went back every few days, getting another check. Nisi has gotten about $8,000 since that graphic, about 4 more times. 8,000, and then another 8,000, and then another 8,000, and then another. Yeah, and it's not always from the same organization, because she's listening and she's learning. And she's not just accepting one check. She says, okay, I got that check. I'm ready for the next check. That is what true effort is. That is what true purple power is. That is what purple power, that's what purple hawks are. Purple hawks means pouncing. If there's a check available, you get it. You don't sit around and say, I got one application file, I'm waiting. Excuse me? I'll be going over more about this later in this video. So that is the importance of that Check C. And there's a lot of Check Cs, and you can get a lot of money for Check C. I've been doing it for over a year. I know how this works, and I know when it's done right and when it's not done completely. So how do you do that? You go right into the membership newsletter. Go down to Check C in the membership newsletter. You don't have to take notes about it because it's all in the newsletter. In the newsletter, I tell you the places to reach out to for Check C. Let's see if I can grab the Check C graphic. Here it is. And I tell you where to call, who to say, and what to say, and when to do it. It's as simple as that. Now, here's what I need you to know is that when you're doing A, B, C, you got to do exactly like I say in the newsletter. You got to do exactly like I say in the newsletter. Exactly with the words, exactly with the manner, and exactly with the breath. The breath. I don't mean breath mint. You smell like a lobster sauce again, Mitch. What's going on here? No, sorry, Mitch. Not that type of breath. The comprehensiveness of the situation. If you qualify for Check A, go get on application right now. Don't wait. What are you waiting for? Check B. If you qualify for it, go get on application. And then for Check C, oh boy. For anyone who's a member says, I made one phone call, I was told they're out of money. You're not listening. You're not listening. You're simply not listening. Every video says Check C. You got the City Hall, the City House Authority, the County Hall, the County House Authority, State Hall, the State House Authority, the 7 nonprofits. That's 15 phone calls. I say 15 phone calls to make. You make one phone call and you call it a day? Good. That's how much you're going to get. You're going to get 1/15 of Check C because I told you there's 15 places, and those 15 places, you're going to call all of them. Let me explain to you why, if it's not very apparent yet. I think it should be, but let me just make it even more apparent. You can call your electric company to get the electric bill paid for, but you can also call the nonprofit to get the electric bill paid for. One video yesterday said they reached out to the county. They were out of mortgage assistance. Well, did you reach out to the 7 nonprofits? They help with mortgage assistance. Did you reach out to the State Housing Authority? They help with mortgage assistance. So there's more overlapping situations across the board. Now, let's go over what the analysts are saying and why I need to prepare for this. Because I think it's just sort of starting. What's starting? Lobster Fest 2022? No, I'm not attending Lobster Fest 2022. Maybe Bob is. He has the shorts for it. But I'm not attending. What's starting? People that are already starting to say we're at the bottom. That this is the end of the bleeding. It's not the end of the bleeding. Get ready because you're going to need a whole box of Band-Aids. We're doing this for 2 more years. We're going to recession for 2 years, starting in January 2022, and a lot of analysts will never say the word recession. They've been sort of disavowed by their brokerage firms, never say the word recession. And Deutsche Bank, God bless them. They're happy. They are able to say the word and live with the word. Other people like Jamie Dimon at JP Morgan Chase does not want to say words like that. Of course, he wants to say that crypto is horrible. Some people just don't want to say those words. Why? Because there's a financial backlash against it when you say these words. I'm not selling you stocks. I'm not your broker. I'm not your stockbroker. I'm not your bond trader. So I have no problem telling you where we're going. I also have no problem telling you that other people are wrong. Here we go. There's an interesting quote by Katie Stockton, who's Fair Leads Strategist founder. She says that the 10-year Treasury note may have a ceiling at 325. I think that the 10-year yields are just going to be stalled in here, where it is right now. Such a steep ups trend is unsustainable. We believe it's going to be consolidating Treasury yields in the dollar. And she said the support at 255 means it's not going to go lower than that, and upward resistance at 325. Do I agree with that? No, absolutely not. I mean, we went to 311 last week on the 10-year Treasury note, and she's basically saying that's the resistance level. Honey, we're just starting with the interest rate spikes with Jay Powell. Even I think at least one or two of his spikes are going to do something to the interest rate yields. I mean, I don't think they're going to work, but at least I think they're going to have some impact. I think there's going to be 2 more half basis point increases by Jay Powell. And to say that we're at the ceiling of the 10-year Treasury note based upon what Jay Powell's done, and he has 5 more meetings where there's going to be likely at least 2 more half basis point increases, it's a ridiculous quote. I just don't think she knows what she's talking about. That's number one. Let's look at that Paulson quote saying that the bleeding of tech stocks is done. No, this is May. This is May, folks. This is May. We're going into a tailspin. We're going to a tailspin. We're going to a free fall all the way into December. And then after that, we are going to have 2 years of very bad situations. We're going to have some up days. We're going to have some up weeks. You learn that from the crypto shows that are coming back to this channel, where things go down and they come back up for a little bit. But to say that we're at the bottom, I got to tell you, it's just really bad analysis. It's just really bad analysis. Why do I go over that? Because I want you to get these checks. I want you to get all these sums of money. I want you to know where this economy is going. I've been really spot on. Nowhere else in the United States can I say that anyone has been spot on predicting things. I've done this. I've been trained to do this. I've been educated for this. I know how to do this. You ain't watching some kid that was a dropout of a high school and then read a few pamphlets somewhere. I've been spot on by projecting where inflation's going. I've been spot on by projecting where supply chain disruption is happening and predicting the major economic development details of this year. Last year, when Putin put those troops at the Ukrainian border, I said, number 1 economic story of next year if he invades. When China went on lockdown, I said, number 2 economic story of 2022. It was. Now I'm a little bit worried about this subvariant in the United States. I'll be watching. I have no projections yet about it because I don't know how widespread it is. I'm a little bit worried about these unemployment numbers, but I'm more concerned about, you know what it is, GDP. If the growth stalls, if the businesses start making less money, if the growth is going from 7% to 6% to 4% to 2%, guess what? Businesses aren't going to hire anymore. So the hiring is going to end. Then they're going to announce a hiring freeze. Then when there's a hiring freeze, people start to see defaults. Mortgage rates going up, credit card rates going up. And guess what? People will start to default on certain things. When they default on certain things, then people start to panic. The number 1 story, again, in a lot of financial outlets today is student loan debt forgiveness. Why? It just sounds really catchy, but I got to tell you, folks, Joe Biden ain't going to do more than 10,000, in my opinion. He torpedoed 50,000, but he has done student loan debt forgiveness for individuals who became disabled after graduation, forgiven. Nonprofit or public sector, forgiven. Procured by fraud by the university against you, forgiven. And put your debts from default into good standing, great. Rolled over from May to September, also great. But beyond that, I think that's going to be about $10,000 is going to be the cap, and maybe he'll do it right before the midterm elections. There's a reason why he's holding it. I don't understand why. I think it's a political play. He already knows the answer to this. He knew the answer to this months ago. And that is where I see that story running out. I don't think it's going to happen any larger than 10,000. But tonight on Eden's LA in prime time, we'll be analyzing more of this situation across the board. The great news is that so far, check A, B, and C are in every U.S. state. Every U.S. state. And they're huge sums of checks, as you saw in those graphics. Guess what? Check D is also in about 24 U.S. states. And that check D is huge or decent in some states. In some states, it is 3 figures. In some states, it is 4 figures. And that Check D is wonderful. How do you learn about Check D? It is also in the membership newsletter. You go right into that membership newsletter and go down to where it says Check D. It has a link for a larger page that breaks it down item by item. Hours of research, days of research, years of research go into everything you see on this channel. And it's not going to be seen anywhere else. That's why LATE is the #1 channel for financial news in America in prime time, and the only channel that covers this breadth of reporting anywhere on the planet. And I look forward to seeing you every day throughout the day, and of course next on Evening to LATE in prime time. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight. Stay informed, stay focused. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to become a member and get that incredible money across the board. That membership newsletter link, that membership link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LATE for more.